All right, so this video is about Elon Musk and his Twitter takeover slash mistakes. It's it's a pretty good. It's basically a timeline of all the events. I'm already caught up personally on him buying it and him implementing Twitter Blue. So we're gonna continue off where I left off. Go watch the whole video. Right, this is a 33-minute video. We 19 minutes in. You got 19 minutes to go catch up before you watch this. But I want to check this out because I want to inform myself. But I might as well make a video about it. Why not?
Elon chose instead to laugh about it and thank the fake accounts for the money. Now that'd be ballin' if he was making enough money through these fake accounts that he no longer needed advertisers, right? Because it's like, what are they going to do about it? Haha. But that's not the case, because during the 2 days the feature was available, spoiler alert, they take the feature down on the 11th to retool it, and it has yet to come back online.
So he's not making
It reportedly made less than $500,000
Wow.
on launch, during the time when most people should, in theory, be most excited to get it. Remember, by Musk's own calculations, Twitter is losing $4 million a day. But he thinks it's going fine, just needs a few tweaks. November 10th, the pharmaceutical company...
That's a lot of copium that my guy Elon is smoking right now, but hey, if you're at the bottom, you can't go nowhere else but up, right?
Eli Lilly loses billions in stock prices after a verified impersonator claimed they would be giving away insulin for free. Similarly, Lockheed Martin lost billions when a verified impersonator claimed they would halt sales to the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Israel due to their respective human rights records. And this may be the funniest single moment in human history.
Yeah, facts.
When two random Twitter users paid $8 each to cost these enormous monolithic corporations astronomical sums of money because an unrelated monolithic corporation allowed them to pretend that they might do something kind. The layers of indictment of capitalism here boggle the mind.
It's crazy.
It's worth noting that it's not just impersonators getting verified at this point. There's also some Nazis, including some big names you might have heard of, like Richard Spencer, Amy Meck, and apparently, big get, the real Adolf Hitler. These fine folks use Twitter to buy some credibility, and can you imagine these activist advertiser snowflakes having some problem with their brand being associated with Hitler? Now, at this point, I pause to ask, does it seem...
man, BMW, Coca-Cola, they created Fanta. Hey, I know my history.
To you, as though Twitter's commitment to brand safety has remained unchanged. Also this day, Twitter's CISO, Chief Privacy Officer, and Chief Compliance Officer all resign, which not only puts all of Twitter's users at risk of data breaches, which may have already happened at time of recording, and other security threats, but also potentially violates an agreement Twitter made with the Federal Trade Commission, which could result in billions of dollars in fines. The FTC might also name Elon Musk personally liable. Also on November 10th, Musk tells Twitter staff that the company's financial situation is so dire that bankruptcy is likely.
Yeah.
You know.
You're never too big to fail.
The company he just spent $43 billion to buy, just a business genius is the thing about him. November 11th, as I alluded to earlier, Twitter suspends all Twitter Blue subscriptions and also announces that the official tag will come back in some point.
One day.
At some unspecified capacity, but only for advertisers. We are now at 2 weeks since Elon took over. How do you think he's doing so far?
I don't think he's doing really well, especially because the Twitter Blue it was for free speech. And advertisers and companies already had their blue check mark. And now you're saying when you bring it back, yeah, you guys can now buy the blue check mark, even though McDonald's and BMW and everyone else that were already an established brand already had it. This is not good. It's not good at all, honestly. But hey, good riddance, man. Twitter sucks. It's not a real place.
14th, Elon tweets that he'll be shutting down Twitter microservices, which he deems bloatware. Microservices are like little bits of software that run independently and contribute to a larger software ecosystem. So they're like little things that run and they do some service for Twitter. Right?
Honestly, I don't even think I can say Twitter's not a real place anymore after they made Lockheed Martin and whoever the fuck else just lose billions of dollars for it. I can't even say Twitter's not a real place because Lockheed Martin had nothing to do with it, yet they lost billions. I can't even say that anymore. Twitter is a real place now. It is. The proof is in the pudding.
Right, essentially. More or less, I don't know. Computer nerds don't at me. The important part here is that among the bloatware that is disabled is the ability for users with two-factor authorization to log in. So if you log out, you just can't log back in. because there's no way for it to send like a text message to your phone or whatever.
That's weird.
Messages from an internal Twitter Slack channel show Twitter Senior Director of Engineering admitting that employees who had been rehired after being fired on November 6th were not, in fact, fired in error, and that they should be thought of as temporary staff who would need to be removed once it was possible to do so. So I guess that wasn't really a happy ending for them.
No.
Oops.
I would not take the job back. After you fire me, it's like, oh no, you actually were important. Hey, you could rehire me, but I'm gonna have to need a pay increase because I already know once I'm done with the job, you're gonna get rid of me anyway.
That feels weirdly cruel. November 15th, Elon announced that the relaunch of Twitter Blue would be pushed back to November 29th. Okay. When asked how he would prevent the same problem of rampant impersonation, Elon responded, it's hard to say, so I figure we got to know who everybody is. That's the thing we should do, so we'll do that. November 16th, Musk sends out an ominous email to all Twitter staff titled A Fork in the Road, in which he demands that they commit to, quote, high-intensity work for, quote, long hours and be, quote, extremely hardcore, potentially working 24/7 in order to bring to life Elon's vision of Twitter 2.0.
I'm down to do it, Elon, but I'm going to need 24/7 paycheck. I need something big. I need a big bag, okay? I ain't gonna do this shit for $40 an hour. You got me screwed. I'm gonna need something bigger. Thinking $200 an hour sounds decent. Sounds fair to me. You want me to work for 24/7? I'm gonna need, by the time I need to rest and recover, I need to be staying in the 5 seasons for 5 seasons twice. I'm gonna need that much money.
He offers an ultimatum in which employees have until 5 p.m. the next day to accept the new working conditions or de facto resign. Some disabled workers immediately launch another class action lawsuit, claiming that the demand to work overtime and also his ending of remote work policies is discriminatory and violates the Americans with Disabilities Act. It's worth stopping here and examining this offer. The right-wing media had a kind of take on it, which is like, oh, he just asked engineers to work harder and they had a meltdown because they just want to drink lattes. Imagine you're in a situation.
Who cares, man? Fuck the right-wing news media. Who cares?
Where your company is bought by...
Like, that reminds me of those comments on YouTube like, oh, all you do is sit and make YouTube videos all day. Oh, why don't you go get a real job? Shut up. If it was that easy, why don't you do it? You won't. Because you're a loser.
By a new boss, and that boss fires half of the employees and then asks you to continue working twice as hard for the same amount of money. And also that the company might go bankrupt pretty soon, so if you do decide to stay, you might just
lose your job anyway.
And also, if you leave, he has to give you 3 months severance. Which of these options do you take? The next day, at least 1,000 people resign.
Exactly.
It's unclear how many people remain, and Twitter hasn't commented on it publicly.
You don't have to.
Because their entire communications team resigned. But according to polls in the company's Slack before the deadline hit, only 7% of remaining employees reported intending to stay. Former Twitter engineers start warning that there are no longer enough staff to maintain critical infrastructure.
Oh, I remember seeing on internet today. So the reason why they're staying, it's not because they want to, it's because they're immigrants. They're on like a work visa. They have no choice. If they want to continue like living here, they have no choice but to work and endure these harsh environments, which is absolutely crazy in the visa system. But what the fuck can you do, right?
And that Twitter is likely to stop working relatively soon. But as of this writing, Twitter is still up and running. Yeah. So we'll see, I suppose. Panicked and seemingly surprised at the mass resignation, Elon closes all...
If Twitter goes down, who's gonna let us know? Right? Whenever something goes down, everybody goes to Twitter to tell people. If Twitter goes down, who's gonna tweet about it? I'm not gonna find out.
all Twitter offices and revokes keycard access to all staff. Disgruntled former employees set up a projector at Twitter headquarters, which scrolls through a bunch of nasty messages about Elon, calling him an apartheid profiteer, among other accurate insults. Side note, not really related to the Twitter thing, but funny story. That same day, Elon is on trial for a lawsuit about whether his compensation at Tesla constituted unjust enrichment, essentially, whether or not he ripped off shareholders and, haven't really looked into it and I don't know much about the law, but Seems like there's a precedent there. Musk objected to a question about how in 2018 he had signed a consent decree with the SEC after that they had found he was lying about having secured the funding to take Tesla private at $420 a share. Epic. Musk argued that the decree was invalid because it was, quote, signed under duress, because if he had not signed it,
he would have lost it.
The company would have lost money. Yeah. Opposing counsel explained that actually Musk's lawyer had the right to object to this question, but he personally did not. And when Musk refused to shut up, they then asked if Musk had any legal training, and Elon Musk responded, and again, this is a direct quote, I'm not making this up as a joke to make fun of him. Okay. If you're in enough lawsuits, you pick up a few things along the way.
Apparently you don't pick up enough things, my guy, because yeah, no.
Yeah, man, you're basically a lawyer. You basically went to law school because of how many times you've been sued. November 17th, RIP Twitter is trending. Elon acts quickly to quell fears of the company's demise by bragging about having killed the company. November 18th, Elon elaborates his vision for Twitter's new moderation policy. Hate speech will be permitted on Twitter, but suppressed by the algorithm. He calls this freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach. Okay. And it's the exact policy that conservatives have been complaining about for years. It's literally shadow banning. That's what shadow banning is. Yeah. Speaking of bans, he reverses bans on a number of controversial figures, like alleged human trafficker and open misogynist Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, who wasn't actually banned, just suspended for violating the rules against hate speech, the Babylon Bee, and I guess Kathy Griffin also, a token liberal to fake neutrality, and of course, Yee. Yay. I've never, because it's Kanye, but it's Yeezy. I've never said it out loud before. I don't know. Anyway, he unbans that guy, and he responds, shalom, as if to signal that his anti-Semitic statements on the platform will continue. Elon then runs a poll to see if he should unban President Trump, despite previously stating many times he would wait for the advice of a diverse panel of experts on the subject. And yes, narrowly wins, marking the first and probably last time that President Trump would ever win the popular vote. Trump would go on to claim that he won't be coming back to Twitter, making the whole thing pointless, but frankly, I don't believe him about that for even one goddamn second. People started asking Musk to unban Alex Jones, which he refused to do. He took a principled stance that having watched his own child die in his arms, he didn't approve of what Alex Jones...
Dude, this is absolutely crazy. So, Alex Jones... People ask if he will come back to Twitter. Elon says no. They say why? Elon says, because I felt my child's heartbeat for the last time. I would not let somebody that purposely makes fun of children's death for them to be on the platform. And then it comes out that his ex-wife says, in technicality, I was the one that held him in the arms when he died. And it's like, one... Elon, why are you lying about holding your child while they're dying? You don't need to lie about it. You could have just said, yeah, my firstborn child died. I'm not interested. You didn't have to make it dramatic. Two, why is his ex-wife being like, technically, I was the one, like it was some type of bragging right? Like, I mean, I guess it's clarification, but it's awkward. Like, the baby died. We got it. I don't think it matters who was holding him. He died. That's weird. It's very weird. And then on the other hand, on top of that, how come the only reason why you're not bringing back Alex Jones because something personally affected you? So if something negatively affected you when it came to Donald Trump, he wouldn't have been let back on the platform? I don't know, man. This don't sound like no freedom to do anything. Honestly, it just comes down to if I like him, he's coming back. If I don't like him, he's not coming back. Which, I mean, it's Elon's company. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. But whenever you're acting like your whole company is about freedom and freedom of speech, and we let whoever come back on, regardless of their opinions or their values or whatever they say, apparently that's all cap. So I don't know.
Jones had said about Sandy Hook victims, which I think is totally the right call, but does kind of call into question his commitment to free speech absolutism.
Exactly.
I don't think you should unban Alex Jones. Good job.
True.
But that is,
that's what you say.
Seems like it's arbitrary and personal, given the people you did choose to unban. Facts. On November 23rd, the day before American Thanksgiving, Elon demonstrated his gratitude to a number of engineers who had chosen to stay after his ultimatum with further layoffs. And it's worth noting at this point that many of the remaining engineers are H-1B visa holders who could potentially now be at risk of deportation. All of whom chose to stay after his egregious ultimatum, many of whom had been fired and then rehired and told to come back and did. And there's speculation that now they might actually get less severance. And look, I got to cut it off here. I'm sure some extremely funny stuff has happened in between me writing this and posting it. I know that has happened, but I can't wait forever. So I don't know. I'll do a follow-up at some point if there's interest. But I want to address
I'm interested because I don't want to look it up. I don't care, but you have a great timeline here. So fuck it, continue it. Why not? It looks like Twitter might die in the next 4 to 7 months anyway. So might as well just keep it in a folder somewhere, and then whenever it's done, release it, and I'm gonna watch it.
The elephant in the room here, because obviously Elon Musk is going to be fine. He's too rich to ever suffer the type of consequences a human being might face from a bad business deal.
True.
He's not going to be in the poorhouse ever. That being said, there is a tendency to assign to Musk and people like him a sort of Machiavellian genius. Well, it seems to you like they're losing because you don't understand the genius of the move he's making. It's four-dimensional chess, baby. He's going to come out on top.
It's called dick writing, and a lot of Elon simps are really good at it.
This is somewhat because we have trouble accepting that someone with so many resources could be foolish enough to make so many mistakes, that nobody who works for him would point out the problems he is creating for himself or advise a wiser course of action. We would all prefer that there are evil masterminds at the wheel than dummies at the wheel. And no matter how he tries to spin this in the future, this has been personally disastrous for Elon Musk. He's lost at least $100 billion of his personal fortune. To put that number in perspective, think of a dollar. $100 billion would be 100 billion of those.
That's bigger than a swimming pool.
Not only has he tanked the stock price of his most valuable asset, Tesla, he's also done irreparable harm to his greatest intangible asset, his reputation. Yeah. He's become a laughingstock, and it's not likely he'll be able to sucker investors like he has in the past. They've already grown more skeptical of the tech industry in the past few months, and he's fallen on his ass harder than any of these tech giants. And I think to assume that there's some secret master plan is to buy into his myth-making. That he's some renegade genius who sees things at such a high level that the average person could never understand the mysteries he...
Sounds like the same people that still believe in Kanye West. You guys are crazy.
...grapples with. I think the reality is pretty clear, though. He just...
Oh, you don't understand Kanye. You don't understand the message. He's saying black people were treated bad by the... Two wrongs don't make a right. I'm pretty sure you learned that back in kindergarten, just like I did. Just because one person was... Just because they treated us wrong doesn't mean 20, 30, 40, 80 years later we get to treat them wrong. It's like the same dumb mentality back in high school. It's like, oh yeah, man, white people made black people slaves, so we should make white people slaves now. Like, stop. Grow up.
Just assumed he could do this. He assumed he could run Twitter, just like he assumes he could be a lawyer despite not knowing anything about the law, or assumes he can judge people's coding by reading it on a piece of paper. He is a petty tyrant who refuses to listen to the legions of people more capable than him in every regard. Because the enormous wealth he pilfered through quasi-legal schemes and unethical cons means that he doesn't have to, ever again in his life. He can just bully everyone around him and there's nothing they can do to get back at him. Because he has more money than it should be possible to have. There is no greater logic to his actions. There is no secret master plan. The emperor has no clothes.
Yeah.
Even if it later turns out that he bounces back and makes a shitload of money, it's not because he's a secret genius. It's because when you have...
When you can do anything that you want, you're unstoppable. The only thing keeping Elon back really is just his wanting to be loved by everyone. If he did not have that, if he was like, I don't give a fuck, I'll buy Twitter and then I'll close it because I want to, it's funny, ha ha ha, he will be way more dangerous than he is right now. Way more dangerous. Let's be lucky that Elon still cares about what his fans still think about him. Because if he didn't, look, man, we'd be watching a whole different video right now. This man would have burned down the company, sold all that shit, fired everybody, ran away to Thailand. There's no extradition in Thailand. He would have been set. It don't matter. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. He has more money than everybody else. He can do whatever he wants. And there's nothing anyone can do about that. unless we just say the value of the money doesn't matter. Sure, that just fucks up the economy. There's nothing we can do because of what our capitalist society has created. Let's be honest. It's because of our society. And I look, I profit from the capitalism. I certainly do. Doesn't mean I can't say that it's definitely not the perfect system. And until someone can come up with a better system, I don't think, even if we do come up with a better system, the people that are already at the top of this system would even want to switch. If you're already at the top and someone proposes something that's better for everyone else, why the fuck would you care? You're already number one. Why would I care about you getting better? It's not my problem. I'm rich, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Billions of dollars. You can't do anything to fail. You will just remain rich forever.
Facts.
These people, these ultra-rich jackoffs who own more wealth than some nations, they're not smarter than you.
No.
They don't provide benefits to these companies in proportion to their compensation.
And honestly, they stole it or they got lucky. A combination of both. It's not necessarily you're smart and you got rich. No, you can 100% get lucky or outplay the game and become wealthy. Trust me, first-hand experience.
To justify the obscene hoards they possess. All of these companies would be better off if they were prevented from making any major decisions. They would literally be better off if a rock with googly eyes were made CEO. Elon Musk is a buffoon, and I think I've demonstrated that quite conclusively. I could personally do
Yeah, you did, but there'll still be people in the comments defending him.
a better job as CEO of Twitter, despite knowing absolutely nothing about business or tech, because all I'd have to do is not do anything. Doing nothing and letting Twitter employees just do whatever the fuck they want would be a significant improvement in management. In fact,
I wouldn't doubt it, especially if they loved the job and they saw Twitter as their own personal baby. They will want everything in their power for it to be successful. It might create corruption as well, so I don't know. But I'm not a fan of micromanaging, so I get it. Let the fucking tech nerds do tech nerd stuff without somebody over their shoulder, especially that if they don't know what their job is doing, they're just like, oh, it looks good to me. Oh, I'm on the checklist. Oh, fuck it looks good to me. Yeah, let's not have Billy Joel over there checking over the tech nerd. Let the tech nerds do tech nerd stuff. Or have a tech nerd watch over the other tech nerds to make sure they're not doing any hacker tech nerd stuff.
can prove that. I have been more successful than Elon Musk in business this year. My fair trade union made t-shirts from thoughtslimeshop.com have at this point not lost $100 billion.
Nice.
Let that sink in.
There you go.
Hello and welcome to
I mean, he's in the negative. You in the positive, baby.
the Eyeball Zone. Here in the Eyeball Zone, we're a microblogging social networking.
Speaking of eyeballs,
They would literally
did you get like an allergic reaction? I'm not roasting. Like, it's just like red and puffy. So I'm wondering if he had like some type of allergic reaction or something. I don't know. But this was a good video. I was when I was like 19 minutes in, when I was watching this on my phone, I was like, yeah, I already knew about this stuff. So I don't know about what's going to happen here or what's happening here. So I'm going to make a reaction video because it'll be a genuine reaction because I don't know what the fuck's going on. I know bits and pieces, but not the whole thing. But this gives me a better perspective on how big of a mistake this is. You're never too big to fail as a company. But as a person, like, we'll see. He's the richest man in the world, right? So we'll see. Even if all this happens and he loses everything, I mean, shit, he still has investments and other stuff. I mean, we'll see, man. I guess you're never too big to fail as a person, but a company definitely can fail, especially if it's based off, what's it called? Customer service. So if there's no, not really customer service, but more advertisement. If the advertisements aren't there, you run out of funding. Fuck it, you're gone. Anyways, this is your boy Miss. It was a great video. Thought Slime. That was a nice video, man. I hope you do continue this. If you want to, I'm sure it's a lot of effort to to categorize all this stuff and remember it, like write this shit down. But it was a great video. I loved it. Anyways, it's your boy Miss. Comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.